Everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is me, the Layman Apologist, and yes, we are over here on our alt channel. Now, first video went out, I think, 2 days ago. Well, at least it was 2 days ago for me, and I said that this channel is going to have slightly different content, and even some of the Layman team members may actually post videos on here. That's still going to be the case. Now, I've had somewhat of a brainwave. You guys can let me know whether you like it or not, or whether you wouldn't consider watching this type of stuff. I plan on doing, because I do a lot of live streams on this anyway. I do some cultural commentary along with apologetics. Now, the older I'm getting, the more important I'm realizing how my country is, and I do not like the changes that I'm seeing in my country. And anytime I do talk about the UK or Ireland, because the majority of my audience are American, there is often a lot of interest. So, what I thought we would do today is react to a video. This is not the type of stuff that I would normally react to. This is actually a tech video by Mr. Who's the Boss, who normally does tech review, I guess. I've heard of him, I've never really watched the stuff. However, this video has gone quite viral because he has procured two mobile phones from North Korea. Now, the reason why I'm interested in looking at this is North Korea is known for being a lockdown state, a censorship state, and the UK seems to be moving in that direction with some of the things that they want to be doing. So, this is somewhat of a warning. We're starting to see a lot of censorship happen in the UK, especially around Christians. And let me go ahead and bring up the video. We're going to watch this together and interact with it. Actually, I may change scenes here so this is more enjoyable for you guys to watch. But let me just point out, because I normally do get nagged by people that have asked about this, and I fail to keep pointing it out. If you wish to give to the channel, to support the channel, the work does help me keep producing content, writing articles, um, some books that I'm working on. If you want to help me keep doing this type of work, because I do a lot of this in my spare time and it does take up a lot of my time. If you want to give, there's a little QR code here in the bottom left hand. Yeah, it's bottom left hand corner for me. Hopefully, it's the bottom left hand corner for you. But anyway, you should see it. Anyway, it's a little QR code. You can scan that and give a one-time donation if you wish, or you can become a monthly member, whatever suits. And there's also a little link beside it as well. Obviously, it's not clickable, but you can type it in. So let me point that out before I change over. And let me change to this format. Sorry, you're looking at my big head for a moment. And let me go over here to YouTube, make this full screen. Let me see how that looks in the studio. Okay, that looks a lot better. So now I'm small screen. Um, would I be better over? You know what? I'll not play around with it. Me and tech is not great, and Gabe is not here to rescue me. So anyway, let's go ahead and play this video. I'm going to obviously have to pause and talk over it and things like that, so forgive me. But anyway, YouTube, once again, just a reminder, this is under fair use. I'm offering commentary on top of this. I'm providing extra content on top of the video I'm reacting to. Please leave me alone with your copyright strikes. Okay, folks, let's go on.
These are two extremely rare phones from North Korea, and it's kind of insane that I'm even holding them. The North Korean pop.
I'm actually just quite surprised off the bat that they have cameras, although the cameras are probably to monitor the citizens, actually, now that I think about it.
Population is so cut off from the outside world that it's almost impossible to even get a text message out, let alone two fully functional smuggled phones that.
Now, there may be a little bit. Oh, sorry, folks, this volume might have been down here. That wasn't the volume bar, and I just skipped ahead. Apologies. What an idiot am I? There, I think we were roughly around there. Let me just, yep, volume's up. Sorry about that, folks. All the smart technological stuff with me here. Now, I know there was probably a little bit of hyperbole in what Mister Who's the Boss said there, but there is also truth. This is mad to think that in 2025 we have a place in the world like North Korea here that is so locked down that it is, you might as well consider it completely cut off from the rest of the world. Like, that's mad. the fact that you can barely get a text going out of North Korea, and again, there may be a little bit of hyperbole there, but at the same time, I don't know anybody from North Korea. I ain't ever received a text. So, yeah, let's go ahead and keep watching.
Message out, let alone two fully functional smuggled phones that show us in crystal clear detail what it's actually like to be a North Korean citizen. So this is the Heian 701. It's one of the country's budget
heard of it.
phones. Just to give you an idea of how little is known about this stuff, you can Google the phone's name and nothing will come up.
Oh, okay. So there was me saying never heard of it, and yeah, Google doesn't even bring up information on it. That is how locked down North Korea is. That is mad. Like, we are so used to Google. Well, a lot of people use AI now, anyway, but we are so used to going to Google to search information on pretty much, like, I can Google how to take apart a Hoover and put it back together again. And the thing is, you could probably Google the most obscure Hoover or vacuum, sorry for my Americans. Um, you could probably Google the most obscure model, and somewhere, even on Reddit or something, there will be something online about it on Google. North Korea, uh-uh.
Absolutely zero. And then the second is the Samtaesung 8, which
Samtaesung. Okay, sounds a little too close to Samsung.
is a flagship North Korean phone. And yeah, this is different to South Korea's Samsung.
So okay, yeah, okay. I should have known that. South Korea makes Samsung. I thought who did I think made Samsung? I don't know, but I wouldn't have said South Korea.
Which translates to 3 stars. This is Samtaesung, which translates to 3 huge
So they don't go for 4 stars or anything like that. They go for 3 huge stars. Interesting.
stars. You're going to be seeing a lot of this whole my dad could totally beat up your dad energy. But that's because convincing North Koreans that they are superior to South Koreans, that they are morally purer and militarily stronger, is about
That's an interesting military walk right there. Like, people like to point out the World War II German goose walk. What on earth is going on here?
the most effective way of keeping them loyal to the government. And it's pretty clear when you look at these phones that the smartphone is playing a big part in that. I can actually show you this.
No, okay, he's about to go on to something with censorship here. What I was just going to point out briefly is 2 things. I know I'm on a smaller screen, so you're probably not even looking at me, which is fine. Apologies, folks. I have got new headphones here, because it makes the audio apparently a lot better for people, but they are really bad for sitting in my ears. They fall out very easily, so apologies if you keep seeing me fiddling. Now, the other thing I was going to say is the phones actually look decent, but I guess we're going to see what they're like censorship wise here.
Right now by trying to type on these phones. So if I write Namhan, this means South Korea. The second that I hit the spacebar, that gets auto-corrected to puppet state. It is.
Wow. That's in real time as well. And this is primarily why I wanted to do this video, because a lot of people are going to watch this and they're probably going to be like, the UK is not that bad. It's not going that direction. It absolutely is. The UK is at a stage where if people don't start speaking up, things are going to get worse and worse. We can get flagged here in the UK for it. Now, check this out. I should have probably done a video to this as well, actually. I still might. There was 2 female police officers showed up at a lady's door here in the UK, and they said they wanted to speak to the woman's, I believe she was 13-year-old daughter. And obviously the mother rightly, kept them at bay and says, look, you're not speaking to her until you tell me, what you're here for or whatever. And they slowly begin to reveal that it's over, like a social media post. So the mother pushes, and she's like, what she shared, or what she done or whatever. And you will never believe what the female police officers say. Oh no, she's just looked at it. So you're here to speak to my teenage daughter because she looked at a social media post? Yes, because that is now apparently offensive in the UK. So while we're seeing censorship going on here, the UK is doing a lot of things. If you're not paying attention to politics at the moment, you absolutely should. The UK is doing a lot of things with the internet that should freak the living daylights out of you, because this type of thing could come here. Now, one of the things that the UK has done with the internet that I think is fantastic, I think they should go a step further in my mind, but I'll start with what they've done right. They have now put age blockers on pornographic websites to stop children using them. Great. Fantastic. Go a stage further. Ban the porn. Now, you've got that, but this is going to go to a stage where, like this censorship we're seeing here, it's going to be a big brother state.
Bonkers seeing censorship this explicit happening in real time in front of my eyes. You physically cannot send the word Namhan even if you try, which shows just how committed North Korea's government is to sustaining its narrative that South Korea is this inferior, less individual country that just blindly follows whatever the US asks them to.
Interesting. Anyway, folks, I realize with me stopping and starting, this is probably going to go on forever. So, what I'm going to do is let me play this at. I personally watch things at two times speed. A lot of people struggle with that. Let me go to 1.5. I think most people could understand 1.5. That way, it'll speed it up a little for us.
Other ways of wording it, like Republic of Korea, that doesn't even get corrected. That just turns straight into asterisks. Kind of like you're a child and you just tried to make your Club Penguin username a swear word. And you can actually see the censorship becoming more invasive as time is going on. Because if we use this Heian phone, which came a few months before,
So this model of phone came a few months before. Okay.
this one lets you write North Korea as North Korea, but the Samtaesung doesn't.
So within a few months difference, you could write North Korea. Wait, hang on. That doesn't make sense. What am I doing?
Even let you do that. The only way the one's a swear word can get corrected, that just turns straight into asterisks. Kind of like you're a child and you just tried to make your Club Penguin username a swear word. And you can actually see the censorship becoming more invasive as time is going on. Because if we use this Heian phone, which came a few months before, this one lets you write North Korea.
Okay, so North Korea, which is the state it was made in. So why couldn't you write North Korea?
As North Korea, but the Samtaesung doesn't even let you do that. The only way that you're allowed to refer to North Korea now is Joseon, the
Okay.
traditional name for the Korean.
There, so North Korea now does not want to even be referred to as North Korea. It wants to be referred to as Joseon, or however you pronounce this, because that means the entire landmass. So they're claiming North and South.
Kingdom, and then South Korea almost as if they're belonging to them as South Joseon. But it gets worse, because Daily NK News, the guys who actually secured these phones in the first place, and whose basement I'm sitting in right now, they've probed around and found all sorts of extra oddities in the software, like how, if you type Kim Jong-un, the name of the current leader, into any app, it will make the text bold the second you finish the word.
Oh, there you go. He's the big boss, so his name has to be in bold. See, this is what I'm laughing at, because this is. Oh, I've lost the headphone. This is honestly something that I could see Keir Starmer trying to do, because his ego is that large.
Or how all sorts of South Korean slang is just subtly corrected to the more proper North Korean approved way of saying the same thing, presumably because a lot of this slang originates in some capacity from South Korean media, and the North doesn't want their population to even indirectly experience that. But probably the single craziest example of this is if we type oppa. This is a common South Korean
Isn't that a phone model? Oh no, that's Oppo. Sorry.
expression that can be used to mean either older brother or, in slang terms, boyfriend.
이거 좀 따주세요, 오빠.
Which in itself does raise a few questions. On these North Korean phones, though, it corrects the word to comrade, accompanied by a warning. This word can only be used to describe your siblings. Imagine getting a warning for attempting to.
Look, folks, sorry. I'm not laughing because, like, being a citizen in this situation would be horrendous. I'm only laughing because look at the level of ridiculousness that this is, like, delved into. And like I say, people can doubt me all they want, but, like, I honestly, if people remain quiet, I wouldn't say the UK is far off this.
Type a slang word. That's moderation on a level that I have never experienced before. But I would say even more significant than autocorrect, the biggest factor in controlling information going in and out of North Korea, and the main reason that the country is still this cryptic bubble and we barely know these phones even exist, is the internet situation. Or really, the lack of one. Look at this. On the Heian phone, you can swipe down from the top and you see your control panel that looks basically the same as every other Android's. And there's even a Wi-Fi button there, but when you press it, absolutely nothing happens.
Interesting. Now, I have heard some stories before because I read a book. Oh, goodness, what's that guy's name? I think his name's Brother Andrew or something like that. and he did work with North Korea, and he from what I've read, I can't remember, something, definitely something to do with like the lack of internet. I can't remember in detail, so I don't even know why I'm bringing it up. But why even have a Wi-Fi button there if you can't access it? That's just weird.
Weird, but let's go into settings to click on Wi-Fi directly, but you can't. And they've actually gone
So it's just disabled.
a step further with this more recent Samsung, because you go into the quick settings, there isn't even a Wi-Fi icon at all. It's like they don't want you to even
Wow. And again, remember, folks, these two phones are months apart, according to Mr. Who's the Boss here.
consider that the feature could be as accessible as that. The only way to get something that even resembles Wi-Fi is this. It's called Mirai, and it needs so many details from you, including your government ID and an authenticated North Korean physical SIM card, that it's pretty safe to assume.
Okay, so there's something that I think it's important to talk about. Now, we are seeing here in the UK, there was a push, and it's still not gone. I think a lot of people think that now it's, it's passed, enough people opposed it. It's not. There was talk about a mandatory digital ID here on top of your passport and your, whatever else. And they even wanted to use this digital ID for you to access certain things on the internet. Now, things like gambling, again, like we said before, pornography, all those sorts of things. It was worded in a sense that, it was for people's safety and things like that. And in one sense, you could look at that and go, okay, that makes sense. There should be better controls with those types of things. However, my solution, ban pornography, get rid of it. There's other things you can do to help with the gambling situation, including cracking down on the actual gambling governing bodies. Limit there should be more limits to what they place on their customers. If you're someone that bets multiple times a week and it's becoming a problem, well, I think there should be certain limits to how much you can bet or how often you can bet. There's things you can do there without involving a digital ID, because the moment a digital ID is introduced for things like that on the internet, it starts there and it just goes further and further and further until you're in a situation here like what North Korea has.
Everything you do while using it can be traced right back to you. And even with all of that, this still doesn't get you onto the internet. There's actually no way for a North Korean citizen to do that. All this can get you is access to a highly curated North Korean intranet, where you can look at specifically government-approved TV, news, propaganda, and apps. More on that in
Oh, there we go. So government approved. So basically, they might as well be watching the BBC.
bit. But the key thing to know for now is it doesn't look like it would be a great experience. The app itself tells you to expect speeds between 2 and 33 megabits per second.
Oh, that's awful.
Less than a 14th of the speeds that South Koreans are getting on their public Wi-Fi. I imagine the way that North Korea's leaders are seeing this is they know that the second they give their population access to the open World Wide Web, it's game over for being able to control the way they act.
Well, you see, this is the thing, and this is why I say the UK should be wary of censorship. There is nothing more dangerous to a government that wants to control people than a people that know how to read and research things for themselves. Now, I'm not going to get into this topic right now, but whenever we mention a certain injection that people were told that if they didn't take it, they would lose their jobs. It's very funny how a lot of people that said they were not taking that injection and held to it, praise the Lord, those are the ones that are now in the right. Whenever we've got multiple, reports and inquiries and everything else showing that these things were not safe and that the people that were questioning them were actually the wise ones. Yet those people were the people that were made feel like outcasts. I'm just going to leave it there because that's going to go in a different direction. But the biggest threat to a government is a well-read population.
Think. But at the same time, they can't give the people nothing if they're trying to convince them that their country is truly superior to all others. Hence, this careful substitution of traditional Wi-Fi features for this highly traceable Wi-Fi equivalent that reinforces national pride as opposed to diluting it. But those speeds are so dated. And to be honest, everything about using both of these phones feels dated. Like, it's pretty sad that this Samsung is one of their modern flagship phones. It was only released recently in 2020.
Okay, folks, let me jump on to some of the more watch parts here just because this is going to be a very long video if I do all of
If
it.
anything, the more dated the tech, the simpler it is, and therefore the easier it is going to be to control. That would also explain why the Hayoung is still running Android 10, with seemingly no ability to update beyond that, and why Samsung is stuck on Android 11, making it 5 years worth of updates behind current Android. Let me show you what I mean by all this copied stuff.
Just no, I'm not on Android anymore. I switched last year and I have an iPhone, but I vaguely remember. No, I don't actually. I was going to say I vaguely remember what operating system I was on, but a 10 or 11 is, oh, that is years old. Like, I know he says 5 years here, and like this is what he does. It's tech, so I'm going to take him at his word. But 5 years behind. You any idea how slow your operating system would be?
So there is an app literally here with a Microsoft Word logo. You open it up and it gives you the option for Excel, PowerPoint, and Word, but I can assure you what you're getting here are not Microsoft apps, not even close in functionality. I would actually go as far as to say that at least 50% of the icons that you see on these phones are stripped directly from other companies, like File Manager and Compass. Those are basically
Yeah, that just looks like iOS.
Huawei icons. They're very slightly reskinned. Maps is an almost one-to-one of the Google Maps icon. This random game uses the same icon as the Mobi Office work application. But let's just zoom out for a second. Even the official Samsung wallpaper, I'm pretty sure they have literally just downloaded the wallpaper from an Honor phone.
Now, it's interesting that they're still using a curved screen. That's just a random thought from me, but I actually really liked whenever Samsung did the curved screens. I thought it gave them a unique look. However, they stopped them because not only were they higher cost to make, um, if people smashed their phones, the repairs were a nightmare.
And then added an 8 to it. And then if I go over here to the About Phone section, I recognize that image. That image is actually stripped straight from the promo material of the completely different looking Huawei Expire. So this one here is telling me it's run out and is basically asking if I want to pay for 6 months or for 12 months for a bit of a discount, effectively making every app a paid subscription, even ones you would not expect to be, like the laws of North Korea. Bearing in mind, North Korea is one of the poorest countries in the world, with its national income per person being just 3.4% of that of South Koreans. This feels like a pretty tough pill to swallow. I think it's likely that just the concept of being able to sustain a large library of apps is a luxury that very
So I know I've jumped around here, folks, but I really don't want to make this video any longer because this was primarily just somewhat of a commentary on why we should not allow the government to overstep their reach. So I'm going to go ahead and end this portion of the video for now. But it's just interesting here to see that I know I jumped into this, but from what I heard there, it sounds like you get a certain amount of usage out of each of your apps before you have to pay for more. So there we go, censorship at its finest. Let me go ahead and switch back to this scene. Remove that so it's just me. Oh wow, bad hair day or what? Ah well, that's fine. Anyway, folks, as I'm recording this, I am getting ready to go and stream with Tim. We've got our podcast tonight. However, I just wanted to hop on, do another little video for this channel. I'm going to try and upload regularly, but because it, sorry for the noise, that's my dog. He's very loud with his snoring. Going to try and make content on this channel as regular as possible, but the priority will definitely be the main channel. So if you're not subscribed to the main channel and you're on this channel, please do go check out the main channel. It is just Layman Apologist. The link is actually in the bio of this channel anyway, so you can go directly there. But let me just give a little sum up. So you have today in 2025, and it's mad, we're almost going into 2026. Where's time gone? But anyway, in 2025, you have a country like North Korea who is so cut off from the outside world that the phones they use, like the country is so locked down, we can't even like Google information about the phones they use. They're using an operating system that is so old because they don't want updates to the phones, because if you receive an update, you receive new features that they would have to silently take out. That's probably the wrong way to word that because it probably sounds like I'm suggesting something. I'm not. I just legit mean they would have to take those features out and it would be too much hassle. And in that time period, they would risk their people perhaps getting access to features they didn't want. So they keep them on an older operating system of a phone where they do not have access to the internet, and they are on a government approved list of intranet, which I'm not even going to pretend I know the all the details behind that, but as far as I know, it's just a localized version of, like, not the internet, but you know what I mean. It's like Someone out there will know better than me. If Gabe was here, he'd explain it better. But basically, they do not have access to the internet. They have a list of government pre-approved programs and things like that. Now, the other thing I will say, although this is not necessarily what this video is about, pray for those believers in North Korea, because there are believers in North Korea. Pray for them, bless them, and lift them up before the Father, because who knows what they are going through in a state like North Korea where Christianity is not welcomed. But anyway, let me just close very briefly by saying this. Folks, the best thing you can do is be well read. The government is God's servant to punish the wicked and to reward the good. That is about as far as the government's authority and boundary goes. Do not let the government overstep their reach. Do not let the government overstay their just do not let them overreach. And how do we do that? We do it by being well read. We do it by not being afraid, because if one of us stands up, others then stand up. That is how that type of thing goes. um just trust in the Lord. Do not let the government overreach, because honestly, censorship will come to the UK. Censorship will come to Ireland. Censorship will come to wherever it is that people stay quiet. Because if a government thinks that they can control you, that they can silence you through fear tactics and manipulation, it will not be long before they take control of the internet, in the sense that they will lock down what you have access to. You'll probably need an ID to even access it. That's some of the steps that the UK government was already trying to do in the name of being protective. No, you're overreaching your authority. You have no authority to do so. Anyway, folks, this has been somewhat of a rushed video, because I thought I had plenty of time, but the closer I look to it, I'm pretty much due on stream. So I'm going to rush to get this uploaded and edited and uploaded. But anyway, folks, thank you so much for watching. Please do like and subscribe. It really helps. And please subscribe to the channel that you're not subscribed to, whether that's the main channel or this channel. It really does help. The moment we get to 500 subs, I am going to do a giveaway. It probably will be a premium Bible. So thank you very much for watching, folks.